Shelby Boyd, and I'm here today with the founder and CEO of WeatherSTEM, Ed Mansouri. We're here today to talk a little bit about OrangeSTEM, a new product available. So what is OrangeSTEM and how does it work?
Okay, so we go to sites such as schools, police stations, fire stations, and we install some equipment. We install a weather station, we install a weather camera, and we take that information enables us to provide very hyper-local weather monitoring and observing at a very specific point here in our state. Then we take that information that these systems collect, and we use it to publish this wonderful new website and mobile app we've created called OrangeSTEM, which lets us see all of these systems we've set up all across the state of Florida. We have over 225 that we've set up here in Florida so far, and we're looking to add more in the very near future.
Great. Okay, so why is OrangeSTEM a valuable resource for municipalities and emergency managers? Why should they consider investing in this technology?
Well, a lot of emergency managers, both at the city and county level, are tasked with protecting people in a very diverse area. So even within the scope of a single county, you can have great differences in weather within the scope of a few miles. So the more of these OrangeSTEM systems that we have, the more they're equipped with knowledge of just how much variation is there in wind, heavy rain, and lightning, and other sorts of dangerous, potentially fatal weather conditions.
Interesting. Okay. So what exactly is hyper-local weather information?
That just refers to being able to observe weather conditions on a very, very local basis. So, for instance, here in Florida especially, even every afternoon during the summer, you might have a thunderstorm sitting over a spot that dumps an inch, 2 inches of rain in a very short amount of time. A mile or so away, it might be bone dry. So hyperlocal just refers to the ability to monitor and observe weather conditions using technology such as OrangeSTEM to understand how weather is unfolding on a very, very localized basis.
Interesting. Okay. So is the information from an OrangeSTEM system more accurate or more reliable?
Yes, because the more of these systems we have, the more we know what's going on a very local basis. So when we don't have as many points where we're collecting information, we have to estimate what the conditions are. So if we had only weather stations, for instance, in Tallahassee and in Orlando, we'd have to estimate what are the conditions in Gainesville or what are the conditions in Lake City. But having more of these systems really helps us understand exactly what the conditions are at particular places where we have an interest in protecting the public.
Interesting. Okay. So what industries should consider investing in OrangeSTEM and why?
Well, we have many different industries that we're serving right now, but our primary focus is on those industries tasked with saving lives. So emergency management, fire, police, so that they can use this information and the data these systems collect to make informed decisions as to when is it safe to go respond to something like power outages or trees that are down blocking a roadway in the height of a potentially severe weather situation like a hurricane. So that is the industry that we're really, first and foremost, looking to serve. Those people tasked with saving lives.
Okay. Is it the government's responsibility to warn residents when hazardous weather is headed towards their communities?
Yeah, and that's probably the most important charter of the federally funded National Weather Service, and probably the most important job of any meteorologist. Their primary responsibility is alerting the public of potentially hazardous, life-threatening weather conditions that could impact not only people, but property, animals, crops, etc.
And this could help?
Yes, definitely.
Awesome. That's really great. So could you give me an example of how WeatherSTEM, has helped inform the public and the communities in other hurricane seasons?
Sure. So Florida has been hit by 3 major hurricanes during the last 2 years. Hermine and Matthew in 2016 and Irma in 2017, which was catastrophic. And all 3 of those storms, we were very proudly able to demonstrate how WeatherSTEM, OrangeSTEM provide a valuable resource before the storm. We have a ton of very useful features that show the track of the storm, that show on a very localized basis when can you, where you live, expect the worst conditions to arrive. When will the strongest winds be? When will the heaviest rains be? So that's valuable information as the storm is approaching. During the storm, we got reports from counties all over the state how emergency responders, law enforcement were referring to the systems to make informed decisions as to when is it safe to venture out into the conditions to respond to situations such as distress calls. And then there's a very strong educational component to our programs, hence the STEM terminology involved. So we were able to, in all three storms, take a ton of the information and data that we collected from these systems all across the state and curate them into lessons. Lessons not only useful for school children learning more about science and these storms and how they unfold, but for the general public. There's a lot of important safety information as well. So again, we have a program that impacts positively before the storm, during the storm, as well as after the storm.
Great. That's amazing. So how does an organization or community get involved with OrangeSTEM?
Well, we have a website set up, OrangeSTEM.com, and it's very easy to reach out to us. And then we will be able to work with you to identify a good location to install one or more of these systems. And we handle everything. We provide all of the infrastructure. We come and do the installation, and each site gets its own website, gets its own presence on the OrangeSTEM mobile app. And there's also an interesting feature we've created where each one of these sites automatically creates its own Twitter and Facebook page that automatically get updated by the OrangeSTEM system. So it's a very comprehensive program, very affordable, and we're very eager to install as many of these across the state of Florida. We want Florida to be the most weather-protected region in the world.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for discussing this with me today. And if you guys are interested in learning more, check out OrangeSTEM.com.